All right, what I got here is a tube that has a bad port, and we're going to be cutting it off and replacing it with a new port. So I've not done anything like this before on this channel. So if this interests you, if you would consider going down there, clicking the subscribe, turn the bell on for notifications, and giving this video a big thumbs up if you get anything out of it. I'd appreciate it. I've got an Amazon affiliate links down in the description if you decide you want to purchase anything that you see used in the channel, tools wise or whatever. Don't have to, but that's there as an option. I'd appreciate it if you did. But again, you don't have to. All right, we're going to get into this. First thing we're going to do is cut the old port off. Okay, so I get it chucked up in the vise here, tightened down, and I like to use just a variable speed reciprocating saw or a Sawzall. This one's a DeWalt, not sponsored. This is a DCS 382, and I like to use Diablo. This is the thick metal in particular, 9 inches in length, but carbide teeth. They're very expensive, but they're very good. Again, not sponsored, but this is just what I use. All right, and I'm gonna start on the back side of this and cut this off. Once that's cut off, the weld is still there. I'll just get my cheap angle grinder. This is a Bauer brand from Harbor Freight with 80 grit flap disc. Again, not sponsored. Okay, now for this one, I will grind down a lot of this weld. Okay, so once that's all been sanded down, it'll look like this. Right there. There's some wavy to it, and I do have a rag on the inside. Just whenever I pull it out and I'm done, it'll clean the majority of it out. But this piece here you need to be sure you get everything out. This was part of the adapter that was screwed in. So be sure all that's out. I'll take and blow this off. And that's what we'll be left right there with, that little bit of counter bore. I'll get all this cleaned up. But next I'm going to put this back in here. Okay, and I've got another Harbor Freight Bauer 4-inch angle grinder with a belt sanding attachment on it that I use for this. So I'll take and clean this up. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it does clean up some of the, so whenever we go to paint it, it'll look a little better. But basically all we're doing is getting this cylinder wall or this cylinder tube back down to as it was and getting all the majority of the old weld and everything off. I'm gonna take this new port to the bench grinder. This is a -6 ORB, which is a number 6 O-ring boss port. And it's a little thinner than what was used, but it'll work. And then I'm gonna locate it center right there on that. And then we'll take and weld around it and have a new port. Okay, I'm gonna clean the coating off of this and then I'll be back. We got it over here in the welding vise. I'll take my drill here and clean this up. I'm just using a cheap Craftsman electric drill here with this 2-inch, I think, wire wheel. This is a 2-inch wire wheel for a 1/4-inch arbor. Okay, once that's done, I'll take, I got my port prepped. I'll locate it in the center there, and I'll put a couple tacks on with the TIG welder. Okay, when I weld the ports on, I set my TIG welder up to 150 amps. That's what I like to run on these ports. I'm using a number 8 cup here. I'm running a Everlast welder. It's very good. Okay, I'm running tungsten here, blue tip. It is CK Worldwide This is what works best for me. In my situation, yours may be different. This is a number 8 cup, so it's a 1/2 inch tip size. So I run my electrode out about a 1/2 inch from the end of the ceramic. And I'm gonna get down here. Okay, for starters, I'm gonna put a tack on the front side. Be sure and let it post flow. Now I do see that I drew up some crap in there. Now I'll go to the back side and do the same thing. Okay, then I like to come around with my wire brush here. That's my small tacks right there. This one's a little crappy and drew in some contamination, but that's to be expected. So now I'll go ahead and start. I'll weld this side half, and then I'll flip it over and do the other side. Again, this is just what works for me. I'm using a 1/16 inch filler rod, mild steel. This is set up for a thumb control, finger control, but I'm using foot control. Free flow. That arc on that tube there, I'm probably running the full 150 amps right now. It's getting a little hot. I'm backing off. Got a little bit of undercut on that top side. A little bit of undercut on the top side, but I usually put 2 passes on these. Again, this is just what works for me. Your situation may be different. Go in and clean this up again. Always be sure when you're welding, you're doing you're doing a pre-flow and then a post-flow. All right, now here. I'm actually pulsing with my foot a little bit as this gets kind of hot. Okay, once we're to that point, I'll turn my fan on and let it blow over that port and cool down. We're back, that's cooled down. I'm gonna go ahead and regrind my tungsten just for good measure. Okay, got my tungsten reground. I'll go ahead and come back in here with my wire wheel. Clean all this up again. And we'll put our second pass on. All right, there's that side. Wire wheel it. Okay, once it's wire wheeled, we'll flip it around and wire wheel this side, prep it. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and weld this side. Alright, and that's it for that. Turn my fan on again. Go ahead and wire wheel this. And that's it as far as the welding goes. It's welded on there. It'll dry. I'll put some paint on it. I'll plug it, put some paint on it, and yeah. I'll go ahead and pull it out and let you see that weld is penetrated in there all the way around. Right there. Then on the inside, there is some heat in there. I'll take and clean that out with a flat disc a little bit and feel for smoothness. But generally, I don't think I've ever run into any issues with a port replacement as of yet. But not saying it's not possible. So let me get a plug. All right, I got a 3/8 plug here. I'll screw this in so I don't get paint down in there. Then I'm going to take and paint around this. So I'm going to take and paint around this here. And if we get a little overspray in there, we're going to be taking and cleaning that up anyways. So don't worry about overspray. Just try and keep it at a minimum out of the side, inside of the tube. But that's our port replacement. Once I get everything back together, the cylinder prepped, everything back together, I'll end up putting this on the test stand, pressure testing this, and make sure this don't leak. If it ends up leaking, I've got to cut this off and start all over again, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes. Now that I said that and doing this video, this one will probably leak. Hope not. But this is what works for me and how I replace ports on cylinders. I'm not saying this is the way you have to do it or the only way to do it, but it's just the way that I do it. And again, it's what works for us. So if you got anything out of this, if you would consider going down there, clicking the subscribe, turning the bell on for notifications, and giving this video a big thumbs up if you got anything out of it. Again, I'll link some of this stuff down in the description, Amazon affiliates. If you see anything you like or whatever, it will be there as an option. You don't have to again, but if you did, I'd appreciate it. So until next time, thanks for watching.